Intercooler pipe work. Today on episode 2 of the HG Barra build, we get stuck into a hell of a lot of piecuts, as well as modifying the thermostat housing. I've also got some footage from taking the Trans Am out to Lakeside at the Flaming Galah track day, where I did a heap of roll racing with the 360 camera hanging off the back. There's some pretty good footage which I've thrown in throughout the video, so make sure you follow along. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Josh, this is Redcliffe Muscle and Custom. So at this point, I realized the plan wasn't going to work. I'd got these HD clamps from Golby's, and these are what they call a conventional style. These are a 3-piece instead of the different 4-piece, which have the sleeve that goes over the top. So these just slide into each other, and then the clamp goes over the top, whereas the other one has a ferrule that slips in, and then you can line it up and then just slide it over the top and put the clamp on top there. So the difference between the two is these don't have very much movement, and there's pretty much no room for error. As you can see, I spent a heap of time making sure it got lined up perfectly. How's the fitment? Pretty good. But it just wasn't going to work without me chopping a heap of room to get the right angle to slide it in. I decided that I don't want to chop any more out of the body. I've had enough of chopping out of the body. So we're going to go back to the old school silicone style with the hose clamps. I do have a bead roller, which I've done a reel on my YouTube as well. So it was a cheap $50 style bead roller. It's quite effective and useful. I've used it on these ones as well, so it's a very good product. Go check that video out. But what it comes down to is these aren't going to work, and I'm going to have to go back to old school silicone hose and hose clamps. So let's get stuck into that. How good's roll racing? Big shout out to Flame and Galah Motors for having along for the day. It was an awesome track day, heaps of time on track, had a barbecue and a chat with my mates. It doesn't get much better than that, especially on a day off work. The next track day is going to be announced really soon, so keep an eye on the Flame and Galah socials. I'll definitely be heading along with the Trans Am for another race, so if you want to get involved, follow Flame and Galah, jump on the next track day. It's pretty affordable for what it is. A lot of track time, doesn't get much better than that. In saying that, life isn't always track days and roll racing with your mates, so let's get stuck into fitting this pipework. All right, let's test fit this pipework. This does have a specific way it goes. That's it. Yep. I don't know if you can see, but I've actually even chopped this off for the HD clamps. As you can see, best thing about having a welder, you can glue your metal mistakes back together. Pipework. Still got to put some hose clamps on it, but it looks pretty sweet. Coming up into the top there. Got this bad boy here as well. A few pie cuts in there. Coming into the top. Looking sweet. Very happy with how that's turned out. A lot of welding in it. Glad it's done. On to the next project. Let's get this thermostat housing top fixed. Let's go. You can see here we've got the thermostat with the -20 AN fittings welded onto it. Looking at that, I've priced up some fittings, and like I said in the previous video, it is quite expensive to do that. In saying that, my biggest concern now is serviceability. I do want to clock up some Ks in this thing, and AN lines aren't something you can replace or fix on the side of the road if there is an issue or a leak. So considering price and serviceability, we're going backwards, which happens a lot with builds. You do something thinking it's a good idea, and then after a while you sort of realize it doesn't actually work out. So we'll ditch this. I've chucked that on Facebook. That looks like it's already sold anyway. There does seem to be a need for those. So if you do need one, hit me up. I can build you one, and it will be cheaper than the ones you can get already made on eBay, which seem quite cheap in nature. So hit me up if you need something like that. Here's the old top. So this is one of the old tops I've got laying around for the thermostat. This is off a spare motor, so I've just given that a bit of a pie cut. I also just did some calculations. There's pie cut calculators on the internet that you can use. So you just need to tell it what angle you need, and then from there how many cuts, and it'll tell you what angles you need to cut. So I'll just take the lid off that. So I'm going to give this just a little bit of an angle so it's heading in the right direction, because it's slightly higher as well. I'm probably going to use a silicone hose, which will be a little bit quite flexible. So it's lined up nicely. Sweet. So that'll send us in the right direction. This is cast, so as you can see, I've actually cleaned it up really, really well. It's so shiny now. This is, but for a second-hand thermostat that's had a lot of coolant in it over a lot of years, this came up really good. So we'll see how it welds. I'll definitely give it a really good preheat to try and burn anything out of it that's sort of hiding in the pores, but we'll see how this welds. That one welded not too bad, so let's get started. Thanks for coming along on episode 2 of the Barra into a HG Kingswood. Special shout out to Flaming Galah Motors who had me along to their track day. I had an absolute blast. The next one's going to be announced soon, so make sure you jump onto their socials. I'll also link them in the comments. As you can tell, I'm super stoked with how the pipework turned out, as well as the thermostat housing. We're definitely cracking along nicely on this project, so we're going to keep going. It's definitely giving me a heap of motivation to keep rocking on, so I want to get stuck into the wastegate next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out all my socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm Josh. This is Redcliffe Muscle & Custom.